is Doug Demuro, and today I am here with the Peterson Museum in beautiful Santa Margarita, California, at an event sponsored by Pennzoil to drive some cool cars. We're gonna get behind the wheel and see what's faster on a runway drag strip. So with us today we have
a Dodge Viper versus a Ferrari F40 and an Acura NSX.
Now let's hear some more about these cool cars.
Conceived in 1998 with the objective of creating a modern Shelby Cobra and first shown at the North American International Auto Show in 1989 purely as a concept car, the Viper obtained widespread enthusiasm, leading to a standard production vehicle during the Lee Iacocca management era, with a run stretching far beyond. 85 engineers and $70 million were allocated to Team Viper to make it happen. Lamborghini cast a prototype engine from an aluminum block, and the first mule was carrying a V8, which was then replaced by the iconic V10, also developed by Lamborghini, then owned by Chrysler. Carroll Shelby piloted a pre-production model as the official pace vehicle during the Indy 500 race, and in 1991, the Viper officially debuted in its final form at a price point of $52,000, exponentially improving the image of a then not-so-successful Chrysler group. No airbags, no ABS, no traction control, no air conditioning, no door handles, just a lot of power. The Viper boasts 400 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, giving it a 0 to 60 time of 4.2 seconds and a max speed of 165 miles an hour. Introduced in 1987 and produced through 1992, the F40 was a mid-engine, rear-wheel drive legend developed with the goal of replacing the 288 GTO and meant to celebrate Ferrari's 40th anniversary. With a total production run of 1,315 units costing $400,000 each in 1987, it was also the very last car to be personally approved by Enzo Ferrari himself. Ferrari had the deliberate goal of making the F40 a fast and Spartan supercar for those drivers who pursued nothing but sheer performance. It was developed using 5 GTO Evoluzione dropouts from the 1986 Group B FIA races and was required to be completed in only 11 months because Enzo intended to present it in June of 1987. The Pininfarina-designed body is made of carbon fiber and Kevlar and aluminum to guarantee rigidity and low weight, which is further decreased by lightweight plastic windows and a windshield. Cooling was important as the forced induction engine generated a great deal of heat. As a consequence, the car was somewhat like an open-wheeled racing car, but with a body. It had a partial undertray to smooth airflow beneath the radiator, front section, and cabin, and a second one with diffusers behind the engine, but the engine bay itself was not sealed. All F40s left the Ferrari factory exclusively in red, Rosso Corsa. Powered by a 2.9-liter twin-turbo V8, it generates 471 horsepower and 426 pound-feet of torque, and boasts a 0 to 60 time of 4.2 seconds with a top speed of 197 miles an hour.
All right, that was a bit of an interesting one. Not really the outcome I expected, even though both of those cars are about the same model year. The Viper's a 92, the F40's probably 91, 92, but it kind of feels like a car from a different era. But the F40 is like the ultimate dream car. You'd think it would fly past the Viper, but I think one of the big things that's gonna happen here today is who's willing to take the biggest risk? Who's willing to roast their clutch the most? On these older cars, you never really want to push them that hard, and that goes triply true of the F40. So I'm not really surprised that the Viper kind of took the lead there and pushed on, because I don't think anybody wants to beat the hell of an F40 at a start.
The first mid-engine rear-wheel drive 3-liter V6 Honda manufactured between 1990 and 2005, and the very first mass-produced car with an all-aluminum body, the NSX was born from the HPX Honda Pininfarina Experimental in 1984 with the objective of exceeding the performance of V8 Ferraris of the time at a much lower price point. The acronym NSX stands for New Sports Car Unknown World, with X being the mathematical symbol for an unknown value. The project, which was bolstered by the enthusiasm for Honda's return to F1 in 1983, pushed their R&D department's efforts towards creating a supercar which had the goal of providing power-to-weight and wheelbase-to-weight ratios that were close to those of F1 machines rather than street performance cars. The NSX inspired the designer of the McLaren F1, Gordon Murray, who was blown away by the performance and handling provided by the NSX chassis. The aerodynamic design of the NSX was inspired by a combination of elements from an F-16 fighter jet to input from F1 legend Ayrton Senna. The NSX finally launched in 1989 at the Chicago Auto Show with a 5-speed manual and a VTEC engine, giving it 270 horsepower, 210 pound-feet of torque, and a max speed of around 170 miles an hour. In 1997, the NSX received a performance upgrade through the introduction of a 3.2-liter V6, bringing it up to 290 horsepower and 224 pound-feet of torque.
I heard it.
All right, that was an interesting one to watch, but not really all that surprising. The NSX is known for its handling prowess, its abilities on a racetrack or a curvy road. That's where it really shines. The Viper is known for having a lot of power. And so no surprise, you throw the having a lot of power car on the track next to the handling car. It's more about finesse, and the Viper takes it pretty easily. The Viper is a dominant car. It's got a lot of power, and it's being driven pretty well here today. It's got no problems hooking up with the tires, getting going, and so no surprise, it beats out the NSX. So there you have it, some amazing 1970s, 80s, and 90s exotic cars all racing against each other. Some amazing runs, and it was really cool to actually see these cars driving fast. You so rarely get to do that. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Pennzoil, for sponsoring this wonderful, ridiculous event. And be sure to like and subscribe to the Petersen Museum YouTube channel for more great stuff coming up.